to share the phone so titi no ya se hwehwe mu bayi wo eno de post me ene post me bie na me nso me person ehwe ma na twetwe nyom ubetimi ahwe no live on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, let's listen to something from Nakwali. It's my favorite. I think we're live on air now.
Friday with GN Radio Show, 8 to 10 p.m. When
let's kick off with that first, and then after that we're going to get the interview because I can see Big Joe has set us live on there. So any moment from now, you can see me and Princeton live on there. All right, Nakwali, what the? And you have to come and see Bonnie Princeton check or bricks here be galala. Okay, so we're live on air. I was actually going to give you a bit of a Dr. Slim, but we don't have much time. What I'm going to do is, okay, let's take that and then we'll come back to Princeton Owusu-Ansah. Hopefully by then you'll be ready.
Hey, yo, Dr. Slim, what up, double? Look, we show these people. Hanemo. Ulisekeni woye. See, give it to me the way me like it, up and down, the way me love it. Baby girl, make you no worry. If I know say money, they do the talking. around for me now, cause I really wanna go downtown. Make you know do me down, cause I'm ready for you right now. Make you call me Dr. Slim, anything you want, baby, ask me. Sick of you, my mind be free. Do what you don't tell me, baby, free. Make you call me Dr. Slim, anything you want, baby, ask me. Sick of you, my mind be free.
Okay, so I've got my guests ready. I've got this time. I think I've done a bit of a publicity. I don't need to do an introduction anymore. The thing is, this program is fast becoming one of the Sunday specials. And for some reason, a lot of people have been waiting from last week. Many of his friends, my friends, and all that, who want to know who is up next. But thankfully, my producer is able to give me, an update a week before. And then I'm being joined by my guest. I'm going to leave him to introduce himself, and then we set the board rolling. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Princeton, Owusu-Ansah. Okay, let me leave you. Who am I talking to today, please?
My name is Princeton Owusu-Ansah.
Okay.
Princeton is the firstborn of former Chief Inspector Coach Prince Owusu-Ansah and Mrs. Gifty Owusu-Ansah, and an Ashanti from, not fully an Ashanti, half an Ashanti and half Ghana.
Okay.
From Ejosu and Osu.
All right. Where did Princeton grew up? Which area, which suburb in Ghana did Princeton Owusu-Ansah grew up?
Mostly I will say Osu, though we have some stains, Latebi Okoshi, Alajo, Police Depot, and
Okay, so how was your childhood like? I mean, were you an adventurous? Were you a calm person like myself, or were you like my DJ who was all over the place?
Well, I would say I was lucky enough to have parents who were, very, very mindful of what their children will, what they want their children to be in future.
Okay.
Especially, and a strict one as well, especially my mom. Yeah, she was a nurse, worked at a mental psychiatric hospital. So sometimes you see, you know what I mean. Sometimes what she does.
Okay.
My
just
dad
want to
was,
make sure they shape the children
exactly,
to fit whatever they want to do in
exactly.
future. Okay.
My dad was a calm type, very gentle, humble. Because he had been there before. He was a footballer and a policeman as well. So he was that calm, cool type.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like a mix something, when the mom actually does it, the dad comes to calm things down and talk to you in a way that, you understand as a boy. So
okay. Right. So had you planned all your life right from when you were born, especially when you could tell you have the interest for football? Is that when you went straight into it, or something must have changed and you thought, what, okay, why don't I take to soccer then?
No, from my childhood, I had wanted to be a footballer. Because
so it's a dream come true.
Yeah, it was a dream come true because my dad was a footballer and he's been taking me to wherever he goes to play. And that made me get that, that now I want to become like my dad. Sometimes he takes me to the stadium to watch games. And when I see the fans hailing, praising the footballers, I feel like, no, I should be one of these, famous guys one day. And luckily enough, my dad gave me that support. Initially, my mom wasn't okay with it. But my dad was able to support me in a way, but he he gave me that. Even if you want to play, you want to become a professional footballer,
right?
I would like you to finish your education to
Yeah.
a certain level, before I will just, I will leave you freely to concentrate on your professional football aspiration.
It is very particular with African parents, especially those who are a bit learned or intelligentials. When their children take to football, they have ways they have a way they see football to be the game or the life of a vagabond. Because most people who go to school until now, when they must have realized that, look, I still had to be educated to some extent. It's always just football without education. So I know you were actually going to struggle with that. All right. So how was that together with your schooling when you started going to school? Does that play the school team and all that? Yeah. You wanted to get through that.
Yeah. Initially, it wasn't easy because I started with the school team, and by then we also had this what we call the guns, call it Muchendi. We also have the coats. You get me? So I was in all of them. I was playing the school team. I was playing the Muchendi, the coats, and my dad was okay, but my mom, it was very tough. She didn't even want to see me playing football.
Was she the kind of mom who the players had to convince her come to take and pound the fufu
exactly
at the expense to allow you to go? Otherwise,
yes. At a point in time, my friends will come, and because she knows maybe on Saturdays or Sundays I would like to go and play. On Saturday and Sundays, you see her bring loads of dirty clothes for me to wash. And after washing, I have to fill in a drum of, with water. I have to clean the cooking utensils and other things. So what happened was sometimes my team managers and my colleagues, the players will come in. Some will be fetching the water. Some will be helping me with the washing, and so that we can finish quickly. Even if you finish, she will have another thing to. Then that is when my dad will come and say, "Hey, you know what? Go to football and come and do the rest after football." Then my dad would, calm me down. Then I will go. Right. And sometimes even when I go and I'm late, coming back becomes a problem because mom,
yes, waiting for you.
I remember those times. Some of my colleagues would tell me, put a stick in your hair. That would distract your mom when you get home. She wouldn't beat you or she wouldn't, punish you. And, it was...
Well, I remember when we were young, if you go to the beach to swim, you have two options. Either you come back with fishes or you are dead. Then at least that would excuse you from being beaten. Because after all, your parents want to make sense or make use of your outing without going to school. So at least that bringing the fishes will save you the lashes, And same thing with football. Right. So let's get into when you became professional football. I know the school teams and all that. So what school did you start the football? Unlike Africa here, there are football schools that children go to school, they learn and all that. Ghana, we don't have the likes of football schools, unlike like this place. How did you fit into taking you through your dream of becoming a professional football? Because it's very competitive. There's a whole lot of footballers in Ghana, and most of them, some promise to become a lawyer, ends up becoming a boxer. You know what I'm saying? So how was it like being able to fit and finally being left alone, like, okay, carry on with your dreams by your parents?
Well, I was lucky enough to have those parents because they were able to take me through the international schools. Those times it wasn't easy to get the international schools. I went to Elton International, St. Michael International, Green Hill International, and that was when people started seeing my football, skill and other things. You get me? So through school team, for instance, at Elton International, Latebi Okoshi, there was this team, Great Corinthians. It was a coast team at Latebi Okoshi. And I used to go watch them train, play matches. And one day I went to the captain who was called, I think his name was Agbeshi. A very intelligent, skillful, player. I don't know why he couldn't make it into the You know, yeah. So I always go to him and say, no, I want to play like you, and I can play like you. So sometimes even after games, I will collect his jersey and bring it home to wash.
It's just for the passion of it.
For the passion of it. I will take, senior, let me take the jersey home and wash it and bring it. Then on my way home with the jersey, I will put it on.
Jesus Christ.
You get the wet, dirty
with
jersey.
The sweat,
with the sweat, everything. I'll put it on, get home, and I'll wash it the next day. I'll bring it back to him. So that was the type of passion that I had. Just after a year or two, I was recruited into Corinthians.
Wow.
I started training with them. Though I was very young, they were telling me, oh, take it easy. You are young. Your time will come. But I still thought, I could match them. And luckily enough, I was given the opportunity, and it happened until we moved to Osu. And I changed school from Elta to St. Michael International. And at that point, we had this great Republicans and great heroes, also great heroes and Republicans. Republicans was Prince Tego's dad's team.
Oh, okay. The very Prince Tego that we know.
Yeah. By then, he was a little boy.
Okay.
Prince was very little. He was, I think, 3-4 years by then, or 4 years. Yeah.
Wow. So
I played for great Republicans, then to also great heroes. Heroes is known for.
I know of Fortuna Osu or something. There was a team called.
That was later on. Yeah, that came on later on. It was during our time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was heroes, also great heroes, and Republicans. Those were when the times of Foster Batios, Felix Abuaje, and those big players.
Oh,
you get me? Fredo Lenu, and those were the times. So when I had a chance, to play with them as well, with the school team.
So how was it feeling like, realizing you can fit into all these big boys?
Yeah, it was amazing. I thought, come on. Before I had seen Foster and Felix play at the class, was playing a curtain raiser game.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Haas Olympics. And they went to play in the curtain raiser, and I wanted to be like, these guys. Yeah. So getting there with them, it was something amazing. I was very, very happy, very delighted to be around them.
Okay.
And from then, my mom realized that the football was eating into my head too much. So
there's nothing she could do about it.
So what happened was, after my common entrance, they chose a school in Ashanti region, Aguna SD.
That would take you from far away.
Exactly. And I didn't like it, but
you had no choice.
I had no choice, so I had to. But she didn't know that even as far as I went on weekends, my team managers during the moon changes, they'll come and pick me up from school from Aguna Mampong.
Jesus Christ.
Come and play on Saturday.
So that distance couldn't stop you. There was no problem with proximity.
I'm telling you. Then they will take me back the next day.
Right.
So sometimes the guys around the house, when they having a child, hey, I'm going to our local language.
Yeah,
hello, hey, Princeton Chabo. Then my mom would say,
how?
The guy is at school.
Learning.
What do you mean by Princeton Chabo? Then go Princeton born. Then my mom, maybe in a week or two, she will come to the school and say, do you come to Accra to play? I said, no. And I would like to hear no. Until she truly found out that this is what,
All right.
So, they decided to, they got to know that no matter what, this is what I want to do. I like it. So they had to find a way and bring me back to Accra.
Okay. So from then initial stages until you got to the mainstream and levels of football, what team did you start off with?
Great Corinthians. Alatebi Okoshi.
Okay.
Then I came to also Great Heroes.
Okay.
Then Great Republicans.
Okay.
Then to Medina United. From Medina United to Dewey Youngsters. Then Dewey Youngsters to Goldfields, now Ash Gold.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so from then, you became a fully matured football professional in Ghana, not necessarily going beyond borders. Because when we say professional, a lot of people think when you play beyond,
abroad,
but when it becomes your main means of survival. Right. So over the years until now, how have you seen the changes that has gone with Ghanaian football?
Well, I'll put it this way. There's been a lot of changes between our time and now.
Let's hear them. What are the changes?
Yeah. One, during our time, you get to see matured players.
Okay.
You don't easily get a chance to come and play in the maybe the Premier Division or even the First Division. Okay. You know, at that time they had the First Division, the Premier. You get me? Unlike these days, a little boy from the academy would just be promoted into the senior team, Premier Division, and you could see that it's really affecting, you know, the play and the passion for, you know, from the fans itself. You get it? Before you go to maybe a stadium to watch a game, you see George Alassane, you see, you know, those type of players. Let me put it, during my time, you see Shamukwe, you see Joe Debra, Michael Osei, you know, these players.
Yeah.
You know, when you see them playing with a lot of maturity, a lot of passion, you know, and you always want to watch them again and again.
And you don't see that these days.
These days. You get me? You don't
Why?
see.
Why is that? What would you assume as the reason behind the fact that the passion, you know, the what's the word? The feeling that they're playing for their country. Player like Osei Kufu, I know he's when he wears the jersey of the Ghanaian football, you can tell how he feels.
How
there.
passionate he is
Exactly. About it.
Yeah.
What has gone wrong?
As Abedil plays one of them as well.
Yeah. What has gone wrong? Why aren't we having people who play with this, you know, with all this passion?
Well, I'll put it this way. You know, during those days, footballers were the hungry type, where most footballers came from a poor background. You get me? A poor background. So on the field of play, when they're playing, they put in everything to make them survive.
Okay.
Unlike now, you know, things are not like before.
Okay.
You know, you see look at sometimes the way the current footballers, their knowledge about education, let's say educational wise, they are, some of them, I think most of them are educated, unlike before.
Okay.
So before, most of the players knew they haven't been to school or they've not school. So if they've gotten the opportunity to play football to make ends meet, why would they have to joke with it?
Yeah.
Unlike now, most of the footballers are in the SS or GSS, you get me, and playing, and they think apart from football, we still have something. They just want to, I feel they want to, you know, just be like, they know they will get the opportunity, or they have the opportunity.
Okay.
That is why maybe the passion, it's not as great as before.
Okay.
But before, you could tell, maybe Osei Kufu, Pele, the hunger that you go through, you know, before even getting the chance to play, you have to put everything, your life, on that.
Right.
You get me? Myself, it's an example.
Yeah.
You get me? Because I knew I've stopped schooling. Luckily, I was able to finish my sixth form with Accra Academy. You get me? But I decided no. So first, I've stopped schooling and want to be a professional footballer. I have to, because if things go wrong in football, what am I going to do next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I've got your, if not your colleague, probably Chris Waddell, who is based in America. He says he's listening live. It's his story and your story. He put this way. He says his story, referring to you, is just like mine. When my mom didn't want me to play football, and he was extremely mad at me when she saw me on TV and tell my young Kotoko, you know, he likes of all these teams. He comes to pick me up from school and, you know, to play championship and all that in young hearts. Don't you think
he was also a very talented player?
Yeah, I know Wallo very well. Now, my problem is, as a time when Ghana won the under 17, 1991, the mindset of parents thinking that football is out of the equation, they could do something else with their lives, in education or formal education wise. Did that change? Because Daniel Aldo, John Barnes, and all that, now they made a lot of money and it was all over the place.
That was when things started changing from the 91. When the Odates, Kufuors, the Barnes, when they won the cup and they came and they started playing in abroad, you know, and that was when parents started realizing that
we have to leave these guys
alone. If they want to play, let us leave them alone and maybe encourage them to do that. You get me? And even some of us, that also encourages a lot because we all wanted to become like the Odates, that be the Peles, the Kufuors, you know, the Barnes, and you know, so it really pushed us.
Okay.
You know, when we were playing back home for our teams, you do everything possible to attract the scouts, you know, to see you and maybe, you know, give you a chance to get a club in Europe or something. You get me? So it really changed things around.
Let me be up about this issue about coaching and that assumption that coaches are very partial when it comes to selecting people who are really good at football than young guys who tip them just to be having the jerseys to wear. They must have not been as good as those they drop simply because probably their parents wouldn't have money to, you know, fix a coach to select the awards or their children.
Well, I've heard this many times.
Well, if it's not true, you can let me know.
I've heard this many times, but seriously, myself, I never
experienced anything.
No,
like probably because you're able to manage yourself into the first selection.
Well,
it feels you good.
At a point in time, I was always dropped from the national under 17, the Starlets. I was part of the 93 squad, and I was dropped at the final stage when we qualified for the World Cup. That was when I was dropped. And when they came back, they called me into the national 20.
Okay.
When they were about to go for the last qualifying as well, I was dropped. Then I was invited to the Olympic team, the Meteors.
What year was that?
The Starlets was 93.
Okay.
93 with the Barnes, Kufuors, and Daniados.
Okay.
I was part of the team throughout the qualifying series until we qualified. Then I was dropped. Then we came to 94, 95.
Okay.
That is the national under 20 satellites. We were eliminated, I think, by Mali. We won our first game, our first qualifier against Burkina in Accra and Ouagadougou. Then when we went, we drew 1-1 in Ghana. And when we went to Mali, they eliminated us. So we were not able to qualify for the championship. Then 95, 96 to Atlanta.
Right.
Yeah, I was invited as well. So I was with the team until the final preparation towards the Olympic team. That was when I was dropped as well. So at a point in time, I decided, no, let me quit football because seriously.
You nearly gave up?
Yeah, I nearly gave up. You get me? But, you know, my dad, that was when he started, you know, encouraging me. Come on.
He had to put in some encouragement.
That means you have to work very hard.
Oh, yeah.
And what my dad used to tell me was, before my mom would tell my dad, Kofi, won't you go and see the coaches? You are a coach. And see what they do.
Touch your feel.
See what they're doing to your child. Anytime they're qualifying for, then they drop him. Then my dad would tell my mom in my presence, no coach knows Princeton is going to win a game for him and he will drop him. No way.
Wow.
So I'm not going to see any coach. He has to work his way through and work very hard. When he does that, he'll get his chance.
Okay. So in a nutshell, your dad is saying that whether you be able to, you know, go through and then survive or become successful, all would depend on you. Right. I've got some messages from you. This is from Nana Ajua Ayiribia Is that you're looking sweet? I've got something from Reggie Akwe. Is a great bruv. And I've got something from Nigava. Is he is watching with you. One of the, I can't pronounce the name properly. He said, "This is so far one of the toughest defenders we ever had in Ghana." Anyway, right. That's I think that is a good comment.
Thanks, everyone.
Now, a whole Ghana qualifying series becomes a headache, and we find these as to jumping ladders and here and there until we get to the mainstream of the tournament. Is it just the passion you talked about, or what else could be the problem that Ghana, as we know to be the African Brazil, and now we seems to be stuck in the middle of the wave?
Well, I would say,
does it sadden you?
Yeah, it does.
It saddens.
Yeah, it does. It does, because as a Ghanaian, I would be very happy to see.
You must be asking yourself, why those times and why now?
Yeah,
and
why now? Because sometimes I picture it and say, if it was during our time playing now, we would have qualified. We'll be qualifying very easily. You get me?
See, my question is, what seems to be getting us stuck that we cannot, bring the caps, or even get to a stage where, at least Samoa Jan, remember the World Cup,
the final
stage,
yeah,
and
well,
there must be something wrong.
It's difficult because as a professional footballer, I know how the feeling is like when you get to the final. You want to do everything possible,
right,
to get it right and get, the cup or something. But what sometimes I feel like is when we get to the finals, we get contented with it.
Right.
Do you get me? But we should be, go over that. We shouldn't be okay with getting to the finals or maybe getting to the semi-final, especially
where you have to go for the cup.
Exactly. That should be the main priority, the main, goal, for you going to the tournament. Or maybe we have to qualify. We definitely have to qualify for the World Cup or something. You get me? But I say that at a point in time during some stages, we get, okay with it, where we are, we are satisfied and we know we can do it with. And if I'm saying this from my life experience,
okay,
you get me? So I feel if all these players are able to come together, and target that,
right,
it will definitely happen. Because sometimes when you as a human being, when you want to do something and you target it and you put in everything, every effort, whatever that you want to, you get it
by determination.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Because I'm saying this because I put my life into. At a point in time when I played in the 1998 African Cup of Nations, 2002 African Cup of Nations.
Right.
After that, I told myself, what else am I looking for? A local player who've been able to play in 2 Nations Cup. And that was when I started, coming down. I thought, that was all. But if that thing hadn't come into mind, I would have been able to rise to the top. So anytime I refer to these things, I never told anyone that thing, but I remember what came into my mind at that point.
Right.
Do you get me? So it's taught me a lesson in life that anywhere you are, you shouldn't be content with that. You should be pushing to the highest.
Now, when you're listing the causes as to what has let Ghana football go down, would you attribute the coaches as well? Would you blame Ghanaian coaches? Because we go for the foreigners, and it gets to a point in time, I took a few, and all of these guys were very good. We leave them, go for the Otto Fistas and all these.
I don't
think it made any difference at all with the foreign coaches.
It hasn't. To me, it hasn't.
Yeah, but I mean, Nekek started with the Colts, and we had them until
that is why the local coaches should be given the chance.
And so you don't agree with the FA and all that getting the coaches from outside,
and coaches that they get from outside. What
difference does it make?
Exactly, and you wouldn't know the coach that we employ.
Ghana,
they are coaches that they've never made it anywhere else, maybe in Europe. Right. If we are able to employ or sign Mourinho as a winger, then we all shut up. But you go to Serbia and get someone from Serbia, you go to Hungary and get unknown somebody and bring it, bring him or to coach the national team, and you think you've done nothing.
Right. So
whereas I think our local coaches are there. Look, the coaches locally, they know how to, how to mentor the local boys.
Because some of them, they've been mentoring them right from when they were children.
Exactly.
I'm sure Tukwefio, Afrani, they've known all of you
from the starlets.
Yeah.
To where we got to the Black Stars.
Yeah. May soul rest in peace, Coach Afrani. Okay, so who is really much into the job? Is it the coach or the player? Because the coach only shapes you to play well. But I think much depends on you. The
depends on you, the player.
Coaches do just a little about that.
Yeah, coaches will just guide you. This is the formation that we want to play. And as a footballer, when you're on the pitch and what the coach is telling you is not going right for you, would you be doing the same mistakes? Would you be there doing what the coach has told you and you continue losing? No. That is where sometimes I bring back memories of our time. You get me? You have someone like Abedi Pele, Tony Yeboah, you have Udate Lamte. When the going gets tough, they carry the team on their shoulders. Pele can get a ball. Tony, Udate, whoever. Look at where Gago will be to shoot. You get me? He will be, But these days, you can't find that.
Okay.
You get me? You can't. That is, I think sometimes it comes back to the maturity that I'm talking about.
And sometimes you'd have had to adapt your own style of playing because you're on the pitch. The coach must have told you this, but you playing 7 or Ziggy Shaw, Samir J is playing some way. You think, well, though the coach have said that, but I have to grab my own style because I am the pitch and I can see what I have to do. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
That is why the coach. When the coach get mad and say you're not playing according to his tactics that he's shown you.
When you're not playing according to what he's shown you, and you're playing, things get difficult, and you're playing what you think the team can win, and you do that, the coach will still come and applaud you because he's winning. When we're losing, or when you lose, that is when he'll come back and tell you you're not doing what I asked you to do.
Okay.
Do you get me? When I was with Obuasi Gophers, my colleagues will testify.
Right.
Any game that gets going tough, the coach will just call me. Princeton, float. I was a defender.
Okay.
I will play at the center back. But you see me everywhere on the pitch. And believe me or not, either I get a penalty or I score.
Okay.
If you can ask my players, they will tell you this. So by then we had this Hans van der Ploem.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dutch coach. He would just shout, Princeton, just go. And I will be everywhere. When the ball gets to the defense, you see me there to defend. When it gets to the attack, I will be there. At a point, even when we get a penalty, players are scared to take it.
Okay, so the rationale behind the interview that I thought of online and is my concern then after football, what next? I mean, I've seen a few brothers like Ajimandia, who was one of the pillars in Black Star, as I wrote in my small feature that I wrote. At the moment, he's going through some sickness and all that. Do you assume that the Ghana Football Association should have anybody, at least a body, that would take care of all these people who couldn't make it? Some made it. Well, we talk about expenses and expenditure and how people should manage their assets and stuff like that. Would you say the players are not doing enough, or their circumstances? Some of them, you can't blame them. They must have had some issues which best known to them. But do you think people who, after football, are not being honored enough? I mean, those who come up with injury, like as I was saying about, Ajimen Bia and Ali Jara, and who has become completely shattered in his profession. You think the Ghana football is dealing in good enough with the players?
I don't think they're doing enough.
They don't care that much.
They don't care that much. But thanks to this guy, Tony Bafu.
Some individually are trying their best.
He's come to, form a very formidable, association, Professional Football Association of Ghana.
Okay.
We've all come together, even including the current ones. And they do things in Ghana. Sometimes they organize games. They go to play elsewhere. Then when the fans, they try to give it out to those unfortunate ones in Ghana, like Adimendu, Alija, and other things. Sometimes they go together, But
do you think it has to be the nationals, the Ghana's responsibility? It shouldn't be an individual.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that. The government should have done something because, Doctor, I'm telling you, those old players, you hear the name Ajimendria, you hear Pele and others before, and they were lucky enough to have gotten a chance to play in Europe again. But those, especially those who ended their careers in Ghana,
right?
Even after playing for the national teams, are having problems because of the big men, the so-called Ghanaian big men in football.
Right.
A player will travel with the national team Black Stars to maybe Germany for a tournament or maybe African Cup of Nations, and the player will return to Ghana after the tournament with maybe $500. I'm telling you, or $200 and something.
I thought footballers make a little money.
Exactly, but it doesn't go to the players during our time.
Where does it go to then?
To the big men, into their pockets.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling you. I know. Sometimes you travel to Korea. I remember during my time,
right,
we had to play a tournament in Korea, South Korea. We were there for almost a month. We got home and you only have your per diem. The per diem, I think it's for the 2 weeks is $180 or something.
This is crazy.
I'm telling you. But people know Princeton is playing for the Black Stars. He's gone to Germany. He's gone to this.
So it's an assumption.
That is it. People think no, you're making money because you're traveling with them. I know these days,
the allowances.
These days, the current players are getting more
than
those days. Those days, I tell you, you travel and come, and the maximum you get maybe it's $120, $180, $200.
Wow, this is eye-opening.
Yes. So when you see these players going through all that after their football career, sometimes you don't blame them.
Well, the thing is, I don't expect every footballer to be successful.
Exactly.
After their football career, but I believe that at least the country which you have committed, some sort of services to,
you should be honored.
That's right.
Yeah.
They owe you some sort of gratitude for what you've been playing, and then you telling me this. So this is what it is.
Yes, there are a lot of the players, the ex-players, who knows this, but it's difficult for them to come out and say it because they still under the same people. Now most of them are coaches, and the so-called big men are still around. So if they come out to say the truth, sometimes they know their careers will be doomed.
I'm happy. This is the first time I'm hearing this. I'm part of people who assume
that
if
the ex-players will tell you the truth, that is the whole truth. At a point in time, CK wanted to spill it out, but I don't know what happened.
What stops players from telling us these truth?
Yeah, because when you come out to say the truth, you'll be
hated,
blacklisted.
All right.
For instance, myself, at a point in time in the national team, I was told there was no way I was going to play for Ghana.
Whoever told you that?
Because we went to this coach, Dosina came. When Dosina came to Ghana, he wanted a formidable side. So he paraded the foreign players in Greece. They played a friendly game in Greece and they lost 4-something.
Okay.
And they were giving 1,200 or something each. The foreign players.
Right.
Yeah. Then after that, he came to Ghana and assembled the local ones. The local ones, myself with Ate Lawson and other things. And we went to Swaziland.
Okay.
Somewhere around South Africa, Swaziland. We got to Swaziland on the very day that the match, we got there around 1 o'clock and the match was 3 p.m. Without eating, we went straight. They told us, no, you can't eat because it's almost time. And we had to go struggle, and we won 1-0.
So from what you're telling me, it means that players have a lot to say that
A
public
lot
don't know.
they can hear. And who
I'm
are
sure
they going
when
to
you
say
meet
to?
when you meet, you discuss these things.
Yeah, we do.
And
we do.
You must be feeling gutted too.
We have a platform where sometimes I get so mad on the platform that, you know, at a point in time, you know, I stop chatting on the platform because they wouldn't allow you to come out with the truth. Do you get me?
All right. Why not?
So, yes, that is the problem. Sometimes when you want to come out hard and say the truth, that come on, most of the ex-footballers struggling today in life, it's because of the so-called big men in Ghana. You get me? And they're still around us. You get me? When you are bold enough to try and say
I've got as I say, somebody say, Princeton, tell us the story behind your nickname, Monyo. Well, I'll leave you to that. Don't worry. Yeah, keep it to yourself. I think this is coming from what's his name? It's called Bleu B or oh, okay, Bleu B. I'm sure it's one of your fans.
Yeah, maybe.
Right, go on. So. Well, I'm very happy you're revealing this because this is an eye-opener. I'm sure a lot of people wish they could know all these. I mean, for example, now I'm beginning to understand.
Let me finish what I was saying.
Okay, go on.
After we lost the game, we won the game 1-0.
Okay.
We came back to the hotel very hungry.
Jesus Christ.
Because we hadn't eaten the whole day. So we came straight to them. And after having our dinner, they called us and said, "Well done, guys. You've shown, you know, the passion and everything for the game. So yeah, you guys are going to get $120 each.
Okay,
$120 each after all this hustle." So I called Oseko for
120.
I'm telling you,
120,000. You told
no, $120. So I called Oseko for
that's about 90 pounds. That's about
yes,
90, 70
exactly.
pounds.
I had to call Oseko for. And luckily, Richard Kingston, Olele, was in our team. I called Richard, I called Dati Lawson and Foster, and we went out. I told, whilst the big men were sitting, we told them we were the senior players. I had by then played in the 98 African Cup of Nations and 2002 as well. You get me? So I was one of the senior players. So we came out and said, come on, we should be able to come out and face this big man for telling us that after going through all this, the Euro base played in Greece or something, they lost, but they were giving 1,200 and something. Do you get me? How can we play and win through all this hustle and we'll be giving $120? What? So we came back and said, nah. And I was the scapegoat that I'm polluting the minds of the guys. But so I was told point blank that I should forget about the Ghana national team. But I didn't worry at all. And for 2 years, I wasn't invited into the national team. Wow. But thank God, exactly. And at the point, I was on top of my games. Yeah. You get me? And a game against Kotoko, Akumasi.
Okay.
Before then, Black Stars had played qualifying against Liberia. Liberia came to Ghana and beat us 3-0, 3-1 or something.
Okay.
So the professional Euro base started, you know, pulling out. When they invite them, they say, "Oh no, we're having problems with that club." So they had to rely on the local players.
Wow.
During the halftime between Gophers and Kotoko,
okay,
Mr. Ben Kofi, Coach Ike Afrani, and Coach Sam Dudu, they all, you know, came into our dressing room when Coach Hans was having a pep talk. They came, they called me, you know, Princeton, are you okay? You have to report to camp on Monday, the national camp Monday. So Hans had to sack all of them out. How can you come into the dressing room halftime when I have? He said, no, we want to make sure he's okay, you know. And I told myself, thank God that at the end of it all, they have come. They told me I wasn't going to be invited into the national team again. But
and it didn't bother you?
No, I didn't.
With all the passion you have for football, you realize you got.
I was okay with Gophers. We were playing the Champions League, whatever. So I was doing what
was it because of all that was going on?
Exactly.
And so that means, as far as I'm concerned, from the story you're narrating to me, there are a lot of
a lot going on. Even now, with a lot of things going on that, you know, it's things are not transparent. Things are not clean.
Some time ago, we witnessed the captainship of Abedi Pele and Tony Boa, which we believe it had impact on one of the matches they played, who had Germany. To be a captain and all that. What the experience you had, do you think it was as true as people had assumed, had impact on the
it
game
wasn't.
It wasn't anything like that.
You know, they
some of them are just rumors.
Yeah,
some are
just overhyped. That's right. Yeah.
All right, folks. So I'm talking to Princeton Robert Owusu-Ansah, one of Ghana's legend footballers, who has awakened my, idea about all we have assumed with football. Finally, before we end this, I'd like to know what you would expect the FA, the Ghana Football Association, and all that to consider when it comes to the life of the football, especially those who couldn't take the heat and then fly beyond the borders of country. Is there anything you assume would be the best for?
Yeah, I think they should be able to organize something. They should put, as you said, our interest after football.
People, the less privileged one,
exactly, because we have a very short career. You get me? You can end your career.
Is it true footballers and people who make it cannot save properly and they mess about with their money, and because of women and all these,
it's never look, when someone says
whether women pestering you, whether women following you here and there because you're a footballer,
at a point in time you have that during your career.
Possible.
Yeah, it's possible. You get me? It's possible. And sometimes I will also say the types of women that we go after also affect us.
Is there a class?
Yeah. Because
you had to get them the money. Yeah. And when the money finished, they go away.
Exactly.
Did you have an experience?
I didn't. I never had. My colleagues will tell you that sometimes, sorry to say this,
equally a very nice dude and your hair and style and all that.
But sometimes we'll sit down maybe with my colleagues, we're having fun, and those times everyone will be with this woman, and if you are my woman and you want to show off, oh, I want this. Sometimes I'll say, hey, come on. They know me for that. I'll say, hey, don't be silly. Sorry to say this, don't be silly. Come on. If you try to prove someone, I will tell you, come on. I know you are around me.
Just because of money.
If I'm not the Princeton Owusu-Ansah of Ghana football, would you be here beside me ordering certain things? Come on, sit down. Then what we say, Michael is, oh, Monyo, why? I say, no, come on.
Now that you bring in the Monyo, may I know what the Monyo is? Can you tell us?
Monyo is just, cash. Yeah, and I took it after Sebastian Barnes.
Okay.
Yeah, I admired him so much, his passion, he's straightforward. So he's one of the guys that the big man doesn't want to see him. No one wants to see him because
so he doesn't beat about the bush.
No, he says what it's
just as it is. Yes. And I find that in you as well. I think you're a straightforward person.
I'm that type.
And with that, I believe that you had a lot of hates all over the place because
a lot. Yeah. But when you are born to be great, you're born to be great. I was born to be great.
Can stop you.
No way. For instance, from what I told you, so
any particular coach you can hate your heart and say that Kente no Matishi. From Coach Afrani, I took a few and all these Coach Slime and all that. Anybody who you think has impacted your success with football?
I would say I've got one local coach and one foreign coach. Coach maybe two. Coach Sam Dodo, may his soul rest in peace. Coach Tia Kentin and Coach Hans van der Ploem.
Right.
Yeah. But the bosses of all is Coach J. Sapon.
Coach Sapon.
Yeah,
I remember
Sapon.
Coach Sapon.
He did everything for me. Through school and everything. He's like a father to me.
Right.
You get me?
Now, recently, when I was talking about local coaches, we went from Akwesiapia, the gentleman, to CK Akono, and all these coaches, they only, exist only a couple of times and they're gone. As I see, we don't have interest in our own coaches.
Yeah, I think
and we don't care, getting the foreign coach a huge amount of money. Is it just a name foreign coach?
That is what it is. It is just the name.
They're not different from the local coaches.
And believe it or not, the foreign coaches that we employ,
right?
Yeah,
they
do employ foreign coaches because there are other big men who's got shares in the salaries and other things.
All right,
you get me? For someone like CK,
right?
I don't see why somebody should blame CK for maybe
not performing.
You get me?
I started off telling you, yes, I telling you that the coach could only guide you, but most of the game
depends on you, the player on the pitch. You get me? It depends on you, the player on the pitch. It's not the coach.
So what leads to the coaches being sacked then?
Yeah, it's
the ideology.
Yeah, the big men. The big men. It's all about the big men.
Because the local coach, won a foreign contract and so plays well. But the foreigner who is invited home to play for his team feels is already a boss. So, there's no that enthusiasm is not there. That charisma is not there.
And I think they should also look into using most of the local players. Sometimes when you are local based, you put in more, more effort, more than the foreign base.
Okay.
Again, because you also want to have the chance and be there in Europe. So when you get a chance to play for the national team, you put in everything. Again, look at our time. Players who will be invited from Europe will be the extra, the super players. Sometimes you see they will invite Abedi Pele, Tony Yeboah, maybe Ali Ibrahim or Datilamte or Seko 4.
Right.
The rest will be local players.
Okay.
You see? But now you invite 25 foreign-based players, and what do you expect? Everyone feels big.
Okay, so I've got a message for you. This was Timothy Odro. He said, Prince, Owusu-Ansah, what's my roommate,
Gavuzini? Yes.
And I can confidently say that he is a gentleman on the field of play. He was near perfectionist who is it to attest making mistakes. Well, this is from Gawuzini. That's what you say.
Gawuzini, my roommate,
and this
a legend.
Frank Sharif Achiaji. It was the only international. I said, who was the international coach, and they employed from Grant, but was to prove what I can't really get what he's trying to write, but he's citing probably an example of a foreign coach who he thought was also some of them were so you don't believe in foreign coaches?
No, I don't believe in
not
that.
Even one.
No
Moreno,
no
Arsene Wenger.
They can never change anything.
Our style of play is different. They're like kick and run here in England.
It's very important. Sometimes I say this. Look, during our time with the national team, we didn't have, if you ask Michael, we didn't have any information. The coaches will just tell you, hey, you're born said damn. That was the formation that we're playing.
Here you are with all these experience, you've come of age, you've gone beyond the ladder of football. Any coaching interest stakes in comes in?
Yeah, I'm a coach now.
Okay, so you're coaching at the moment.
I'm doing my coaching.
I know some players like something Odoi, one of the legends, also have a team.
Bismarck. Sometimes I go train with him.
And so you're looking forward to become at least one day to coach Ghana.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
This is one of your dreams.
It's my dream. I've played and captained, so why not? Why not? If I get a chance to coach, I will.
So it's always most of the cases. I mean, most players who finish playing Ghana national team over their football career intend to become coaches. Is that the only way out? Can we? After all, that's what you did. So that's more experience you have.
Yeah.
But all footballers who have played or ex-footballers cannot be coaches.
No, not everyone.
How difficult it is for one to stand out and say that I'm a successful coach? How easy is it? I know you have to do courses.
Yeah, you have to do courses.
You have to. Are you going through all that?
Yeah, I'm going through all that. I have my level 1 and 2.
And you're a family man, I must say.
Yeah, I'm a family man.
You work coaching, schooling, and all
Yeah,
that.
I
Must
try
be
to.
very
Yeah, I
tough,
try to manage
blend all that
everything.
together.
And I'm lucky. I'm having things, going
Falling in
well.
place.
Yeah, for me, because we have a club here, Parkview Football Club in London, which I'm part of the coaching staffs, for more than 5 years, and luckily enough, I'm the head coach for the UK national team.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been playing the World Cup, the African Cup in Athens, and lucky for me, I'm very fortunate to have been the coach.
Okay.
And we've won the cup twice. We've been runners up, I think, twice as well. And we're looking forward to, and I'm looking forward to getting more challenges in future.
Right. So, Goy Lolonya, Gabani, Gabai, Bleubi, BNI will be waiting for you at the Kotoka International Airport for speaking the truth. And the criminals running in the system hate the truth. You think Ghanaians hate the truth?
Yeah, they do.
Why would somebody hate the truth? If the truth would help, will make all of us free.
No, we don't want it that way. I don't know, but it's been there, and we've come to, but we should be able to. There should be, we should be able to move out of distance if we want to develop.
Scare you. I mean,
no. Sometimes I feel like everyone should be like me, but it's impossible. Do you get me? Sometimes when you see things going wrong, you have to be able to come out and say that.
Don't you think there are footballers who think that, look, if I try to be Owusu-Ansah, I'm trying to be a banker coach, and
exactly,
I wouldn't say the truth. I'll try to be the coach.
Exactly. During my time, I remember Coach Hans, during our pre-match meeting or something, he said, if I had 2 Princeton Owusu-Ansahs, I would always win the league. And most of the players were not happy for him saying that. And he told them, no, I'm just saying the truth.
Senegal 92, you look at the teams like Salifou Ansah, one Edward Ansah, and substitute, or Tony Bafo, 2, 3, Kwesi Appiah, 4, 5, 4 and 5, Kufuor, Amar Senegal, 6, Stanley, 7, 6, Stanley Abora, 7, Safu Jemfi, 8, Prince Paulie, 9, Tony Abua, 10, Abedi, 11, Ali Ibrahim. With all these strong giants, football, we won the second in the Senegal 92. We couldn't win the cup, unfortunately. But why it's become more of an inexperienced player, as far as I am concerned. You think so? Because all these boys had played the Kotoko, the Hearts, until they all combined together. Now, these youngies we've had lately, you think they some of them are inexperienced? You think?
That is what I was saying. That maturity.
Is that just what you need in football?
Yeah, sometimes you need that.
Apart from the passion to play for your country.
Sometimes on the pitch you have to be able to decide, or you should know. There are certain things that with experience and passion, or with experience and maturity, you'll be able to, do something different. Do you get me?
Yeah.
There are situations on the pitch that, and apart from that, sometimes the crowd in Europe, they are different from those in Africa. You know that? Here, after a game, even if you lose, you see them, cheering you. But in Africa, when you lose, what happens? They start throwing the insults at you. Princeton Owusu-Ansah, boo. Then you see they throw it at you straight.
They give the national anthem.
Yeah, sometimes when you decide, no, I'm not going to mind him. I remember when I was playing in a game for House of Oak, a guy wanted to tell me off and quit Princeton, and I didn't mind him. Quit Princeton. He went all the way around and go, oh, Brad Princeton. And I raised my then he gave me that thing.
Oh dear, the national anthem.
You see?
I see. So how does that feel? Now Manyati is up for her GAN program. We're stealing a bit of a time, but we're going to end the show here very soon. How does that feel if you realize you're committing all of your services to the country and only to be let down by such ultrances? How do you feel?
Yeah, it's
very annoying.
Very heartbreaking. I'm telling you, when it's like all that you've done wasn't acknowledged. Zero. You get me?
Oh dear.
I remember even at a point on my Facebook, I think I sent a message to the FA chairman. I don't know whether he read it or not. I was trying, to things that will help, And I told him, we've got a player like Ajimendia.
Okay.
The nation should be able to handle him. You get me? If you are the FA chairman now, if you start, things will start working out. If you start with that, you get me? It will come to stay.
Right.
You get me? But
anyway,
nobody cares about that.
Well, so finally, what would you say to our brothers and sisters who, after football, especially if they will become stranded and not know where to turn their heads, especially in other parts of the country? What would you say to them, apart from the fact that you wish Ghana would be a full back body if they hitting their legs against stones in a foreign country? So it might as well come back, to be careful.
Oh, of course. I would just tell them, guys, there are a lot of us who are still struggling after football. You get me? A lot of them. Sometimes you get messages from friends.
You know what? I like your honesty. I like your honesty. You're very truthful. You say just as it is, and it's true.
That is the truth, and it should be that way. If everybody could do that, I think there will be solutions. Do you get me? Yeah, but if you keep it in you, how will people know that this is what is happening?
Because initially, I might assume that that's what you were saying, but you weren't like that. But from the way you're talking, I think you say just as it is.
Of course.
And I want to appreciate you for coming on the Dr. Morton Show, Princeton. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome. Thanks for your time as well.
Thank you very much.